Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel and welcome to another video. Today, I'm hoping for this to be a relatively quick video, but I did just want to talk through my February TBR. I am very much a mood reader, and so I don't set a very formal TBR. I kind of just talk about books I'd like to get to in the upcoming month, but as much as I'm not sure how helpful these videos are for you, they're quite helpful for me in sort of just taking a look through my shelves, seeing what I have to read, and also going through anything I do have to read for specific reasons. So it is very helpful. This month is Polathon, and so which is run by Jade Reads, and I did think about whether I want to be involved in Polathon, but ultimately I don't own that many Polar Fantasies, and so I'm not sure how well I would do in the spin. I don't know whether I'll do what happened when we did Polathon last time, which was that you could read whatever you wanted, and if you wanted to, you could donate based on the number of pages you read, which is what I did. So I could do that, but I know that there is the prompts this time around, so I'm not really sure, and I'm filming this on the 2nd of February, so I really should have thought about it already, but we are where we are. So instead, what I'm going to do for the purposes of this video is talk you through books I have to read and books I would like to get to in the month of February, recognizing that it's a shorter month, so I do have to kind of battle with that. But also I have got a fair amount of days in the office in February, and I am always a better reader if I have a commute, so I'm hoping that that will kind of help. So first off, we're going to start with books I need to finish because I'm already in the middle of them, so it would be great if I didn't keep those running over until March. So the first one is I am listening to Spare, the Prince Harry biography, but my audiobooks do take me a lot longer to get through. I really don't listen to them in concentrated succession. I may or may not finish it in February, and I won't really be too mad at myself if that carries over to March, but just to let you know, that is a thing I will be listening to in February. In terms of physical reads, I have 2 ongoing physical reads at the moment. The first one is Written in the Stars by Alexandria Bellefleur. We're supposed to be reading this for a book club with some friends in a Discord chat that we have, and I mistimed it. I left it till the end of the month thinking I'll read it right before we have to talk about the book, and then I got sick. So I have not finished this. I also am not that into it so far, and so I do think it's putting me into a little bit of a reading slump. And ultimately now January's passed, everyone else has read it already, so I can either just put it down or move on. But I don't really want to put it down because I expect I will enjoy it. I think I'm just, for some reason, not quite in the reading mood for this. I was also thinking I was going to prioritize February being a romance month of reading. You know, February has Valentine's Day in it, stuff like that. And so I thought, yeah, I'll do a month of romances. It's my favorite genre to read. However, I think I might be a bit burnt out with reading them. I'm really in the mood for something different, and I feel like I'm not rating romances as high as I would if I was reading them if I'd had a bit of a break. I'm almost getting slightly worn out by the typical romance tropes, so we'll see. It's very controversial for me to say that, but I'm trying to sort of not hold myself too much to it. If I don't read a ton of romances in February, I don't read a ton of romances, you know, it's absolutely fine. I would like to read, it's actually a book I don't have here. The romance I would like to read is Secretly Yours, the new Tessa Bailey. I will be ordering that because I love Tessa Bailey. So there will be that. But anyway, otherwise, I think this is the main romance that is on this TBR, which is Written in the Stars. The other one that I am still in the middle of and have been for nearly a year, if not a year in this month, is Ariadne by Jennifer Saint. There's something about this book. I love the cover. That's why I bought it. And so many people on BookTube love this. And I'm 15% of the way into it. And I don't know if it's the writing style. I don't know if it's the Greek mythology nature. I just don't love this. But I really want to get to a point where I either DNF it and call it quits. I would rather not do that because I feel like, how many pages have I read? 60 or something? 62. That I'm not giving it a fair enough chance. And so I would just like to read it, to be honest. I don't like that it's been on my TBR for so long. It's so embarrassing. So ideally, I will push myself through and finish Ariadne if I can. I think it's just very difficult to feel like you want to convince yourself to read a book you don't love when you have so many other books you could read. So we'll see who wins out there, me or the books. Then we have some book club reads that ideally I would like to get to this month. So basically the way that the book club works that I'm in with my friends in Discord is that there'll be 2 books that are happening each month, and you can choose to read one or both or none. It's very flexible. And I will probably only ever read it if it's a romance or it's a book that I kind of really know about until if I get to a point where my reading changes enough that a lot of my friends like reading mystery and stuff like that, which is not really sort of my, or like thrillers and things, which is not really my type of book, which is absolutely fine, but I'm like really like hearing them talk about books. But the book that got voted as one of the options for February is What Alice Forgot by Liane Moriarty. And Tilly, who is in the book club, bought me this as my Secret Santa present for Christmas. So I was like, well, I'll definitely vote for that one because Tilly bought it for me. So I would love to get to this one in February because obviously Tilly bought it for me. She's in the book club, so it would be fun. It is chunky though. It's nearly 500 pages, which is, I don't know. I wasn't expecting that. So it's 500 pages. It's intense. I just realized I've not spoken about what the books are about so far. I feel like Written in the Stars is like, it's a sapphic romance. And then Ariadne, everyone knows Ariadne, so we're probably fine thus far. But for this one, a really interesting premise, this one. So basically Alice slips in an aerobics class, hits her head and loses a decade of time. And her life was kind of really perfect before. And now there seems to be a lot of choices that she's made in those 10 years that she just doesn't remember, and she doesn't recognize the life that she's in. So it sounds very interesting. I just don't know how I'm going to feel about 500 pages when I'm terrified of big books, but we'll see. And also I now feel like I'm not going to get through everything. I mean, I rarely get through everything that I put in these videos anyway, but this is going to take me a while. So I should maybe start that sooner rather than later, rather than leaving it for the end of the month. There is also another book club that I could read for. So at work, there's a book club, and I've never really been part of it before. I didn't really know it was a thing. And then recently they put out a call saying that new people could join if they wanted to. And so I was like, yes, I would love to join. And the last couple of books they've read are books that are very popular on BookTube, but not things that I particularly wanted to read. And I didn't want to force myself to read something just for the sake of the book club. But the book that they've put on the book club for March is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And this is obviously a big BookTok book and BookTube book. Like, everyone has read this, and it's on my TBR. It's a book I would love to read, and so I am considering whether I read this for the book club. But the book club like meeting that they're having about this is on a date I'm not sure I can make. I would kind of have to force myself to do it during my busy season of work. I'm not 100% sure how I feel about that, so we'll see. But it would be a really good opportunity for me to read this book. So we'll see. But does this feel doable? Is this my whole month of reading? Like, I think I forget I can actually read a lot if I put my mind to it. I'm just not sure if I'm totally in a reading mood right now, so we'll see. So the rest of this book's on the TBR are just like other books in my collection that are kind of on my radar for being further up my list of things I would like to read. As I say, I am a mood reader. I will just pick up what I want to read at the time. Very much like I can make a spur of the moment decision about what I want to read. But I like to film these videos to just give me some vague direction in case I'm really not sure what to read that day. So first up we have Husband Material by Alexis Hall. This is the second in a duology, I think, by Alexis Hall. The first one is Boyfriend Material, which I spoke about in my December-January wrap-up video. I absolutely loved Boyfriend Material. It was so for me. We basically have Luke and Oliver, and Luke is really struggling with his dad, who's a sort of reforming celebrity, getting a lot of really positive news coverage, even though he abandoned Luke when he was a kid, and Luke feels really put out by this. He's acting out, and he gets a lot of really bad press coverage himself, and he works for a charity, and loads of donors in the charity decide that they don't want to donate anymore because of Luke's behavior. And so his best friend is like, you need to be seen getting some public, like, good press. Let me set you up with my other friend, Oliver, who's a barrister. So it's a fake dating trope, which I love, but also it has really good mental health rep. It's so witty. I love Alexis Hall's writing. And so I would like to read this because I loved Boyfriend Material so much, but I'm going to be honest with you, I'm scared. I'm scared I'm not going to love it. I'm so scared I'm not going to love it because I loved Boyfriend Material. Absolutely one of my favourite books of all time and last year. And so this one is them following on, and I mean, I assume looking at getting married, so we'll see. Also, my copy of this book is so grim, so I need to see if I can clean it without destroying it. So we'll see. But yes, if I can bring myself to it, I would like to read The Husband Material by Alexis Hall. The next one feels completely unachievable. looking at this pile. But the next one is Jade Legacy by Fonda. This is the third in the Greenbone saga. You've probably heard about this because, I mean, I talk about it a lot, let alone the fact that it's a very, very popular fantasy book. But if you haven't heard of it, I will give you a little bit of a summary and hopefully it will entice you. So this is about two clan families who are fighting for control of Jade, which is a substance in this world that enhances martial arts ability, and it's also very much a power struggle. It's an urban political fantasy. It is so good. I mean, Fonda Lee's writing is exceptional. I read Jade City, which is the first in this, was the first book that I read in 2022 when I started getting back into reading in February. And it took me not very long to read Jade City, but it took me about 8 months to read Jade War. Jade Legacy is significantly bigger than that. How many pages are we talking about here? 800 something? Is that what we're... Oh, like 713. Easy. So I feel like there would be something really poetic about finishing Jade Legacy in February. I also would like to finish this because, well, A, I think it's going to be one of my favourite books of all time. It's going to be unbelievably great. But also, I would like to move on to more fantasy series, and I'm really wary about being in the middle of too many fantasy series, and I would like to start reading Brandy Sandy. I can't really do that until I finish Jade Legacy. So I would like to do it, but Jade War took me 8 months. Why do I think I could read this in one? I don't know what I'm thinking here. I don't know that I can do that, particularly with these other books as well. But we'll see. I would love to, and I think I'm in the mood for it, and I think I need to be in the right kind of mood to read this kind of book, and I do feel like I'm there. So we'll see. Stuart keeps, like, every time I'm not sure what to read, he's like, read Jade Legacy, and he hasn't even read it. I keep trying to convince him, and I always feel like if I finished it and I started reading Brandon Sanderson, who's his favourite author, and I'm planning to start with Mistborn, then he would then read Jade City, and then we would each have like series we could talk about, and it would be really cute, and we'd be that couple, you know? Next up is one that I think would be relatively easy for me to read, and there's like kind of no excuse for why I couldn't read this, and part of me thinks I might read this today. I think I need to get a little bit of momentum back going because I have been stuck in Written in the Stars for about a week now. So if I could get another book, you know, my Goodreads goal is 100. I have to be reading quicker than I'm reading right now. I'm only at 11. So I'm thinking that this would be a good option. And that is Lore Olympus Volume 2 by Rachel Smythe. Again, very popular one on BookTube. But basically this is a Persephone's and Hades retelling set in the modern world. It does have some trigger warnings for kind of, I mean, to be honest, various things. Look it up because it is various things. But I really enjoyed Volume 1 and I would love to get to Volume 2. The artwork in this is absolutely stunning. They're not very long. They take me a bit longer than they take other people because I'm a slower reader, and particularly with graphic novels, I really like to savor the art. So it does take me a little while longer to read this, but I just think it's just time. I could get this. This would be a really easy win for the TBR. So fingers crossed, maybe even today, I will read Lore Olympus Volume 2. Another graphic novel that I would love to read this month is Everything is Okay by Debbie Tung. This is a new graphic novel that I haven't shown yet on this channel, and this is the memoir of the author, and it's basically a series of sort of short sketches around her dealing with anxiety and depression. I have both, and I'm not going through the best time with my mental health right now, and I feel like it would be helpful for me to read some books, so maybe this or Sad Ghost Club, which are dealing with anxiety and depression, but in the graphic novel medium, which is one of my favourite mediums to read in, and I just think it could be a good one for me. So again, this would be an easy read. It would help go towards my Goodreads goal, but also I think is kind of poignant for what I'm dealing with right now, so it would probably be a good one to read. I did just realise I do have another romance on here, but I feel like looking at this TBR, I don't really see that I'm going to get to this, but I'll briefly mention it anyway. This is The Stand-In by Lily Chu. I've had this for quite a while. It's one of the first books. I think I bought it during my busy event season last year, so that would have been March time, and I like bought it back from Bristol, I think. And this is, I think, like a Princess and the Pauper retelling, and Princess and the Pauper is one of my favourite stories. My favourite book when I was younger was The Princess and the Pauper by Kate O'Brien, and so I just feel like I would probably really love this. I love the cover. It's illustrated by Liane who is my favourite illustrator of books. I would buy pretty much any book illustrated by Liane. So I think that this would be a really good one. I would like to get to it. We'll see if that happens. It would probably be a relatively easy one at around the 350 page mark. So we'll see. And then the last book that I have for this video is a middle grade, which is Front Desk by Kelly Yang. I have a lot of middle grades. I am book shopping is a separate hobby to reading. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I am someone who is very influenced by other people's opinions, and How to Train Your Gavin is someone that when I started getting into BookTube was probably the main person whose content I watched. And so I was like very invested in buying middle grade. I own quite a lot of it and haven't read any of it. And so I feel like I've now started to develop a weird barrier about reading middle grade, which is ridiculous. As a 30-year-old, I'll be fine with middle grade. So I would like to sort of start to read some in the hope I would then get through some more, because they'll be easy reads, they'll be quick, help the Goodreads goal, you know? So I've decided that I think Front Desk would be a really good first option for me, because it's one that I've been thinking about a lot over the last few days. So I think it could be a really good option. This is basically, well, I can read you the blurb because it's very short. Mia Tang has a lot of secrets. 1, she lives in a motel, not a big house. 2, her parents hide immigrants. 3, she wants to be a writer. It will take all of Mia's courage, kindness, and hard work to get through this year. Will she be able to go for her dreams? I just love the sound of this. The cover, beautiful. And obviously being a middle grade, it would be a pretty easy read. I could probably read it in like 2 hours. So I have absolutely no excuse. So I feel like this would be a really good one. So hopefully I'll get to that this month. So there you have it. I mean, there's no way. Though I say that, I got through a lot in January. So maybe I don't need to be so harsh on myself. Maybe I could get through this. I don't know. I'm going to put it down though, because Olympus is so heavy. But maybe I could get through it. We'll see. Hopefully you'll stick around and you'll watch my February wrap up in March, so you can see how I did with this. But we'll see. As I say, I'm a mood reader. I pick up what I want to read. As long as I'm reading, that's the main thing. I don't like this reading slump feeling. I'm not loving this. So I'm hoping that I can get out of it relatively quickly and we can move on, get back into reading, and all will be well. So that is it for today's video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you did, I would really appreciate a like. And if you haven't already, I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. Please do comment down below, what is the book that you are most hoping to get through in February? I'd love to know. Particularly if it's one that I haven't read, sell it to me. I'll add it to my TBR. I'm very easily influenced, so go ahead, convince me to add it. I'm really excited to hear what it is you're reading in February. I will also have links in the description to my Instagram if you want to check out. I'm going to be putting up some new book posts in the coming days over there, and I would really love your feedback on whether you like them or not. So if you could go check those out, that would be great. I'll also have a link to my Goodreads. I post reviews as soon as I finish reading a book, so if you ever want to sort of know at the time what I'm reading, Goodreads is the best place. And I'll also have a link to my planning YouTube channel, which is my other more major hobby, I guess, than reading. So you can go check that out if you want more content from me. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye. I've also just kind of realised I look a little bit like Where's Waldo today.